Hey everyone, I'm Tatiana, and today I'm joined by Stefan from Project Life Mastery, and we're here to share with you our best tips for time management for hyper productivity. So time is one of the most valuable commodities, and I know for ourselves, the more we earn, the more we're trying to outsource and delegate to try and buy back our time. And I know for many of you who are building your online businesses, it's hard to find time to work on your business because you're working full-time, maybe you've got 2 jobs, you've got family. It can be hard to find a time slot to really commit to working on your online business. But you must find the time for it because it's really the path that can help you earn financial freedom. And so the reason why we want to make this video today is because that time, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, however long it is per day, you want to make sure that that time is spent productively. You want to make sure that you're not just checking things off your to-do list, that you're actually achieving results. And so, Stefan, would you like to start by sharing some of your time management tips?
Yeah, I think this is such an important topic because, as you said, time's a depreciating asset. You can never get more of it. So it's about what you do with the time that you have. And I think there's a mental component. The belief that I have, and I think that the truth of the matter is that we always do whatever we're committed to. So if you're committed enough, you will dedicate the time or you'll make the time for whatever it is that you want to do. And I think so often, people get caught up in, I don't have enough time. And we all have the same amount of time. It's all equal across every human being on this planet. But the difference is what you choose to dedicate and commit your time to. So out of those 24 hours that you have in the day, if you're not taking action towards building your business or creating freedom or going to the gym or whatever it is that you want to do, most often it's because you're not making it important enough. So I find it's not as often time management, it's priority management, because if you really want it, if you're so serious about building your business or achieving your goal, then you will find ways to cut back on other things in your life. Maybe it's your entertainment, maybe it's your leisure, maybe it is your fun or time with your family. Everyone that I know that's achieved something great, they've had to make a sacrifice in some other aspect of their life to dedicate their focus, their time, their attention to what it is that they really want. And so one thing I've learned, with myself, and I think for yourself and a lot of people that we've coached, as they're building an online business, you mentioned a lot of people, they're doing it on the side. They've got a full-time job. But the reality is you have to make your online business even more important than your job. Even though right now your job is incredibly important, it's what provides for you, you got to understand your job is not going to get you to the promised land of where you really want to be. And so oftentimes what I notice is a lot of people, they wake up, they go to their job, and their online business is something they do whenever they have free time. But they're not treating it like a business. They're not treating it like this is one of the most important aspects of their life because that's what's going to create the freedom for them. So what I found is you got to identify where is your zone of productivity. I think we all, if we look at our days, we can analyze that and identify when are we the most productive in the day? When do we have the most energy? When do we have the most willpower? There's a great book called The Willpower Instinct, and it talks about we all have a certain number of units of willpower, and that gets depleted throughout the day. And so most often later in the afternoon or the evening time, people have depleted their willpower. And when you have lower willpower, that's when you're more likely to eat junk food, to be lazy, to Netflix and chill. And what I found is that in the morning, that's when you have the most willpower. So dedicating that first part of your day, if that's your zone of productivity, dedicate that to what's most important in your life. Dedicate that to building your business. We both wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning because we found that by waking up that early, we can get so much done by the time it's 9 or 10 o'clock. And so waking up early, dedicating your time to what's most important, creating a morning ritual, which is something we can talk more about because the state that you're in is going to determine your performance and what you get out of your time, what you get out of your day. So for us, we wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. We have a certain ritual that we do to turn on our brains, to read, to feed our minds, to exercise, to make sure that we're in a great state, a happy state, a motivated state that's reading out our goals or reading out the list of reasons why this is important for us. And by taking good care of ourselves, we're in a more powerful state, and in that powerful state, now we can direct our focus and our attention to what's most important and what we want to execute and achieve for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to kind of highlight what you said, I think it's important to kind of understand, are you a morning person? Are you a night person?
Yeah.
And that's going to help determine, when you should be committing those hours to working on your online business. If you're a morning person, then maybe you need to wake up a bit earlier so that you can schedule in the time to work on your business. And if you're a night person, then it may be better for you to do that in the evening, because then you're going to still have that energy. So I think that's really important, and I love what you said about the morning ritual. Indeed, that's something that we both do. So we don't just jump into our workday. We don't just open up our computers and start working. We actually prime ourselves each morning. We do things for our mind, body, and soul. And Stefan knows so much about morning rituals. I learned about morning rituals through him. He's got a morning ritual course, which is fantastic. But we do these things to put ourselves in a wonderful state so that when we are ready to start our workday, we're already on top of the world. We feel so confident. We feel so good about what we've done to nourish ourselves that we kind of show up as our best. And we're ready. And our brain, we're alert. There's no brain fog. We're ready to start the workday. And that actually significantly helps with our productivity.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, I think a key is not being reactive in the morning, as so many people are. I think a lot of people, when they wake up, they don't have a plan. And when you don't have a plan for your day, then you fall into everyone else's plan. And everyone else is going to have a plan, demands their own agenda for you. And so when you wake up and you just go to your phone and check your social media or check your inbox, or you're not being intentional about your day and the plan that you have. So we actually found, like, in the morning we do not use technology. We actually have the screen time on our phones that limit us from actually using our phones in the morning, because we want to dedicate that time.
Because you can put on airplane mode just by tapping on that airplane button. And so we leave our phones on airplane mode from the evening time when we're doing an evening ritual all the way through to the morning during our morning ritual.
Yeah, but it's the screen time, which is the feature that actually prevents you from using your phone as well. So for us, that's time, doing meditation, doing prayer, reading, exercise, like I said, reading out your goals, your reasons why. So that way, and also planning out your day, which is something we can talk more about. Setting a plan for that day, what you want to accomplish, and what's most important. I think that's a key thing in the morning.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, there's a big difference between being reactive and being intentional. And so it starts in the morning. First thing in the morning, are you being pulled in all these different directions by the text messages, by the emails, by social media? You don't want to be reactive first thing in the morning. In fact, you want to be intentional throughout your whole day. So it starts by turning all of that stuff off. You don't need to have your phone or your computer attached to the hip at all times. So take time for yourself. And so then when it comes to actually starting your workday, I believe in being intentional about what it is that you want to achieve that day. It's very easy to just keep checking things off the to-do list, kind of mindlessly performing tasks. And then at the end of the day, you're like, okay, well, what did I achieve today? And you wonder, like, well, I spent 4 hours working, but what did I actually achieve? What was the outcome? What was the result? And so it's very important before you start working that you set an intention for what it is that you want to achieve. And once you set that intention, then you have direction, right? If you don't know where it is you want to go, how are you going to get there? So direction is everything in life and in how you go about your workday. Now, one thing that I also would recommend is putting pen to paper. A lot of us, we have a lot of these things in our minds of all the things that we got to do today. We got to do the laundry, we got to work on improving our Amazon listing, we got to send an email to this person, we got to get back to this person. And it's all in our minds, and it can become very overwhelming when everything just sits in your mind. And so what I would recommend doing is taking it, extracting it from your mind and writing it on paper. When you can articulate all those things that you have to do, all of a sudden it just gets a little bit less overwhelming. You see it in front of you and you're like, it's not that bad actually. This is manageable. I can do this. And so maybe that's not something that you do right now, but I would encourage you to consider doing that. And then another thing that I like to do is I do like to have kind of a to-do list, although it's not really a to-do list. What I do, and this is just what works for me, I know you don't do this, I know many people don't do this, but I want to share with you what I do, is when it comes to my business, I have a note and Evernote. I use Evernote, and I just kind of list out all the things that I would like to do, whether it's this day, this week, this month, all of the things in my business that I want to do. And then that way I kind of have it all listed for me. It's clear, it's there. And then every morning I go to that list and I pick 2 or 3 things from that list. I look at that list and I evaluate it. I determine what is the highest leverage thing that I could work on today. And so I pick one very high leverage thing, 1, 2, sometimes 3 high leverage things that I could work on. And that means that when I say high leverage, there's a difference between setting up your Amazon listing, which I would consider high leverage, versus answering emails. Answering emails, it's easy. And it's easy to do. It doesn't take much brain power. It's not really challenging. But setting up your Amazon listing is actually going to it's going to be more beneficial for you and your business. It's going to help move the needle further in your business. So I pick a few things that are high leverage, and then I just focus on doing that. I'm fully focused, laser focused on just working on those things and achieving those things that day. And once I've done that, I'm like, great, I'm accomplished. That's a success for me, right? I don't go back to my to-do list and say, oh, I'm unsuccessful. I did not have a successful day because I didn't achieve everything. That's not realistic. I'm satisfied with what I did. I set an intention to do these things and to have this outcome, and that's what I did. And then later I can go and I can do the less important or important tasks in the business, such as answering emails and getting back to people. So there's a big difference between urgent versus important, and I want to make sure you guys understand that. There are many things that disguise themselves as important in your business, but they're actually just urgent. So for example, emails, and I bring that up a lot because as an online business owner, we have a lot of emails in our inbox. Oftentimes we're like, oh, someone emailed me, I have to get back to them now. And it seems like it's a very important thing to do. But the problem is, it's like, no, you can get back to them later, tomorrow, in a few hours, whenever it's more convenient for you. But right now, that your attention should be put on focusing on achieving something that's more important for your business. So be careful with the things that disguise themselves as important when in fact they're just urgent, because that's a really easy way to distract yourselves from working on the things that should be worked on. And one last thing I will say is that sometimes when something is challenging, when something is hard to do, not the easiest thing to accomplish, we tend to procrastinate, because it's more of a challenge. And then we'll go and we'll work on some simpler things, something that we've done before, something that doesn't require a lot of brain power, because we don't want to work on that big thing. So that's why for myself, I eat the frog in the morning. So it's kind of do the highest leverage, kind of the hardest thing first thing in the morning when you have that brain power, the willpower, and you can really focus on that. And then later you can work on those other medial tasks.
Yeah, and if you're procrastinating on that big thing that you should be doing, but you're not doing it, most often that's because of the emotional state that you're in. So if you are trying to push and you can't get yourself to do it, sometimes taking a little bit of a break and then putting yourself in a great state, a resourceful state, an action-taking state. Maybe that is through meditation, calming your mind, because oftentimes our mind gets in the way. We overthink things, analysis paralysis. So meditation, mindfulness, breathing to get out of your head and get more into the present moment. Or maybe it's jumping up and down or putting on some music and dancing, something to get you out of your head and to change and move your body, turn on your physiology. And then when you go back into trying to do what you want to do, you're going to be that much more effective with it. But just to add what you're saying, the 80-20 principle is really what it is, because when you have your list, you got to realize you're not going to do everything on your list, because that list is always going to grow. And you're just not realistic that at the end of the day, you're not going to get everything done that you want to get done. And that's okay. You don't need to. All you got to do is the most important thing you got to do for that day. There's a great book called The One Thing, that if every day you just do that one thing, that most important, highest leverage thing that you can do, you do that every single day, 5 days a week. When you look over the course of a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, you're going to accomplish so much more than most people. So for us, we identify like the top 3 things. As long as we get those 3 things done, or that one big one, then that was a great day. And then those other things always find a way to get done. Emails and responding to people, that kind of always gets done, in some way, shape, or form. You don't need to put as much attention to that, I find, as those big things that you should be doing. So for us, creating content. This is a very important thing that we can be doing with our time, that we want to make sure we do a great job, and that this video is going to go and reach thousands of people and hopefully make an impact. Setting up your Amazon listing, doing research in your business. I would say the important things are really anything that produces income or sales in your business. Okay, anything that produces revenue is always one of the most important things, because sales is the lifeblood of your business. And as you said, I think it's easy for people to avoid doing the important things because I'm not good at sales, I don't know marketing, I'm just gonna do what's easy, I'm gonna do what's convenient, and they get a false sense of accomplishment. They mistake an activity with achievement.
Yes.
Just because you're active throughout the day doesn't mean that you're actually achieving things, as you alluded to. So anything that produces income, revenue, that's always the number one, the highest priority thing that you could be doing for that day. And then, administration type work, customer support, things like that, those still get done, but whatever produces revenue, that's really the key thing that you got to focus on every day, because that's what's going to allow your business to grow and scale. And with that revenue that you make, that's what allows you to now work smart to outsource and delegate administration, customer support, social media, all those other things that take up your time, but they're not really producing revenue as much. So I think that's a key thing, is understanding really what is most important and identifying and focusing on that.
Yes, absolutely. And also, sometimes we have to really be honest with ourselves. Is this something that we need to be working on right now? Or is this something that, it's not due until a month from now, and there's other more important things that I could be doing right now? So again, sometimes we just choose to work on the things that we're comfortable with, the things that we already understand, versus if there's something that has a learning curve, like for example, marketing or like PPC, we're like, oh no, I don't want to work on that. You're trying to avoid it, right? The procrastination comes out. So be honest with yourself. What right now needs to be done in your business? Like, is setting up your Amazon listing a priority right now? Is placing your order with your supplier priority? Like, what is the priority in your business? Because sometimes there are things that we don't need to be doing for another 2-3 weeks, and we're using the time today that we have today on something that is not necessary. Like, there's other things that we could be working on today. And I love what you said about delegating, because at some point, and it could be a lot earlier than you think, you can definitely outsource some of these administrative tasks. And I talk a lot about emails, answering emails, because if you are, running an Amazon business, you do have to perform some sort of customer support, although Amazon does provide a level of that. But there is customer support. And so when you're starting your business, it can be like as soon as you receive an email from a customer, you feel like immediately you have to respond because you want to provide the highest level of customer support. But the truth is, because you're the business owner, that is not the highest leverage thing that you could be doing. Anyone can do customer support. Anyone that's trained knows how to do customer support can help them. You want to be working on the things that really you as the business owner can only be working on. There are certain things that you have to do, and there are other things that other people can do. And so at some point, I would certainly recommend considering to make your first hire. It can be someone part-time, it can be a freelancer. We love using Upwork.com. It's a wonderful website to hire freelancers. You just hire them on an hourly basis, and you can hire people from all over the world really inexpensively. And this way, like the customer support, that's handled. The social media, that's handled. And now you're no longer spending your time doing those things. You're able to really focus your time on those high leverage things in your business.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say on this too, because the reality is time is limited. We have to accept that and come to terms with that. And even being a hard worker, which I think we all are, we're all trying to hustle and grind, that has a lot of limitations as well. You'll only get so far because you only have so much that you can do, only so much time. So the only there's a lot of tactics when it comes to time management and productivity, but the ultimate, the holy grail is going to be outsourcing and delegating, building a team. Okay, building a team. A team is an acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. Yeah. And so when you realize that there's only so much that you can do as a solopreneur, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs stay stuck as, they think they're afraid of giving up control. They're afraid of empowering and trusting other people to help them build their business. But then they're going to remain trapped as a slave of their business and never really have freedom. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn how to achieve through other people. You have to learn not just to work hard, but to work smart. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to that, you really have to make that a priority. Use freelancers. That's one of the greatest opportunities that you have as an online business. The fact you can hire people from all over the world. But by delegating, outsourcing, that's what's going to give you the real freedom. And the only way that you really are able to delegate and outsource is by generating the sales in your business. So that's why when you're first starting your business, oftentimes you are a solopreneur, but you've got to be able to get down the income producing activities to make enough money. And when you can make enough money, maybe you get to 6 figures a year. That's when you can really outsource even more. And for us, the reason why we're able to get so much done in our day more than most people is because we get a lot of help. And that's what your money can really provide for you. When you realize the ultimate gift of money is that it gives you more freedom and more time, then your life goes to another level. You know, your body goes to another level. Your relationship goes to another, everything in your life goes to another level, because now you can hire someone to clean for you. You know, every week, I'm sure we all spend a certain amount of time cleaning or cooking or going to get groceries or doing our laundry. A lot of these activities that you know people need to do, but they're not producing revenue, they're not producing income. And it's not really the best use of your time, not unless you really love it. You really love to cook or you really love to clean. But a lot of people, they're spending their time doing those things all throughout the week, that when you have money, now you can hire people to do that for you. Or perhaps, you know, if you're a mom and you got kids and it takes up a lot of your time, by having money, you can hire a babysitter to take care of your kids a little bit here and there. And that can help you to focus more on your business, or it could help you to focus more on your relationship or focus more on your body. So realizing that I think is the ultimate benefit that money can provide. But you gotta go through that hustle and the grind of working hard to get to a point where you're making enough money. And then with that money, now you work smarter and you outsource and delegate so that you can continue to focus on what's most important and what's gonna produce income, while being able to actually create the freedom that you really want. So I think that's the ultimate hack and tactic when it comes to time management.
Yeah. And I guess one last thing is, you know, we always hear the saying, you know, work smarter, not harder. But I would say that you need both. You know, nothing's gonna replace hard work. You've gotta work hard, because otherwise you're not gonna see results. Nobody's gonna hand anything to you. That's why, you know, success, you know, not everyone becomes successful. But at the same time, realizing, what does working smart mean? You know, this online business, this type of business, I mean, it's not really necessarily a business where you have to work tremendously hard. Hard work is like working in an oil rig. Hard work is
physical labor,
construction. Like, that's hard work. I never worked that hard, but I do have to work hard at being smart about the work that I'm doing, and I'm trying to be creative. I'm planning out my day. I'm using a lot of brain energy to see, okay, how can I be the most efficient today, the most effective to achieve that intention that I set for myself today. So I don't know if you have anything else to add. Otherwise, I mean, we have a lot, but this video will be too long. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. At the end of the day, like, you know, you don't need to work, you don't need to be working on your business full time to become successful with an online business. That's the beauty, is that you can work on it just a couple hours per day, as long as you're staying consistent day after day, and not just working on the business, but actually achieving your outcome for the day. Doing that one thing that's going to be the high leverage thing day after day, as Stefan said. So we just want to encourage you guys to make sure that you are, you know, scheduling that in, because if you don't schedule something in, it's just an idea. It's just like, oh, if I feel like it, then I'll work on my business. No, you got to schedule it in. So whether it's in the morning, if you got to wake up earlier, or at night, if you want to stay up later, it's up to you. But schedule that in and just work smarter in your business, and you will certainly achieve your goals. So thank you guys for watching. We hope that this helped you. If you want to check out Stefan's channel, I'll link it down below. It's Project Life Mastery. He's got a lot of amazing videos on there. And if you need more help with mindset, motivation, time management, he's your guy. He's got some wonderful content there that's really life-changing. So again, guys, take care. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Bye.